August 12, 1984, Los Angeles, California, the start of the Summer Games of the 23rd Olympiad. Not only did the United States have the most overall gold medal haul, but these Summer Games were considered to be the most financially successful modern Olympic Games and became the model for future games. The highlight of the LA 1984 Olympics were the women of the United States track and field team. They dominated with performances by Evelyn Ashford, Valerie Briscoe Hooks, Joan Benoit, Benita Fitzgerald, Jackie Joyner, and Leslie Dennis, to name a few. But it was the women's 400-meter hurdles whose origins began at these games, in particular, the United States women hurdlers. High school senior sensation Leslie Maxie, 1984 USA Tech Outdoor Nationals runner-up.
In 1983, going into the winter-based training, Mr. Parker said, this is going to be the first time that the women's 400 hurdles will be contested as an Olympic event. I was a state champion in the 400 meters. I was a state runner-up in the 100-meter hurdles. And he said, I want to think about combining those two events and have you run the 400 hurdles. The very first day, he was like, we're going to do it like Moses does.
University of Tennessee Lady Vol Sherrieffa Barksdale, first collegiate athlete to run under 55 seconds in the 400-meter hurdles.
So I was running the 100 hurdles, and Terry Crawford brought me in the office. And plus I did the relays and the 4x4 and the open 400 too. So Terry said, Sherrieffa, said, now the reason why I'm bringing you in here is because you're not going to run the 100 meter hurdles anymore. And so I'm like, okay, so what you trying to tell me? Trying to tell me you get ready to take my scholarship away from me? That's what I'm thinking to myself. So she said, well, Sherrieffa, seeing that you run the 400 and that you're on the my relay, I'm going to try you in the hurdles. Said, because you can already hurdles, let's try you in the 400 meter hurdles. And I went out there and I ran and I won. Brooks Johnson came up to me and he said, young lady, you will be an Olympian. He said, what got you here will keep you here. He said, you stay with these 400 meter hurdles. He said, because I never, ever, ever have seen no one run those 400 meter hurdles like you have ran in my entire life.
Judi Brown King, Michigan State University, 1983 and 1984 Pan American Games 400 meter hurdle champion.
The 400 meter hurdles were just starting. They weren't really recognized. And, a lot of times it was, you weren't a really good hurdler and you really run a good 400 meter. So we're going to put you in this makeup race and make you do the 400 meter hurdles because we don't really have an event for you. So I didn't want to do it because I was like, well, I don't want to be in that race because I can run the 100 meter hurdles and I can run the 400. So why are you putting me in the race that you tuck people away in? And so, at first, I could not figure it out. And then I just kind of kicked back into my earlier training. My default was, all right, who's doing it and who's doing it well? How are they doing it? And I just started watching Edwin Moses.
When I think about the history of our event, I just think about how many powerful women have come through and the rivalries and the battles that have taken place to push this event to where it is now. And I'm just so glad to be part of such an amazing legacy of women who have really pushed our event to the next level.
Let's take a journey that began in the summer of 1984, leading up to the United States Olympic trials.
At Nationals, which were, I think, 2 weeks before the Olympic trials in 84, it was in San Jose. Went into this race. It was me and Judi Brown King. The trials, the rounds going through, she was winning, I was winning, but we didn't really meet one another until the finals. And it was as if everything fell into place. I got second place in that race. She won the race. She got the world record. I got the junior world record. But it was actually the second fastest time in the world at that point. So had she and I not been in the same race, I would have gotten the world record. But it was just such a perfect lead up, because it was enough pressure but not too much pressure, because she was the world record holder, and it really allowed me to look at the trials as if it was something that could happen, not just a possible but a probable.
So they had me and Judi most definitely making the team. I was ready, for the race and everything, but it didn't turn out the way I had expected it to, because I wasn't in first place. I wasn't in second place. I found myself picking up the rear in third place with Lori McCullough. So I saw, when I looked over to my left, I saw Judi, and Judi had crossed the finish line. She was ahead of us, and Judi was getting ready to cross the finish line. And then Angela Wright, who wasn't even in the picture, they didn't even have her ranked there. She came up and took the second place from Florida State. And then I saw Lori McCullough out from, she was also on the left. All of them was on the left hand of me, and I was in the right hand. I think I was in lane 7. And so when I looked over at her, my torso was a lot bigger than hers. And so I outleaned Lori. So it seemed like it took them about 15 minutes to give us the results. But it was probably about 5 minutes. And so when I saw my name, I see it like it was yesterday. I saw my name, Sherrieffa Barksdale, and I just was screaming. I remember turning a cartwheel.
From the U.S. trials, American 400-meter hurdlers Judi Brown-King, Angie Wright, and Sherrieffa Barksdale are the top 3 to qualify for the 1984 United States Olympic team. High school phenom Leslie Maxie misses making the team with a 5th place, but still accomplishes her dream and makes the 1988 Olympic team.
I remember sitting in the press conference after the event, and this reporter said, what are you guys going to do tonight, your family? What are you going to do to celebrate? Because it was such a surprise that I had gotten this junior world record. And I said, well, I'm going to go home and do the dishes. They were like, what are you talking about? I said, my mama didn't play. She said, certain things were always going to be in order. And I think about that when I think about the experience of not making the team in 84. I would have been a very different person. I think it would have been too much too soon. And what that did was it gave me 4 years to be hungry, to really, really focus, to learn my craft, to learn how to alternate. And so it really did set me up for a more stable progression. And ultimately, I think that was the best thing. I mean, just like doing those dishes, everything is done properly and in order.
At the LA 84 Olympic Games in Memorial Stadium, California, the only American to advance to the women's 400-meter hurdle finals is Judi Brown-King.
We're going to go back out to the Coliseum now to Al Michaels coming up the final in the women's 400-meter hurdles.
As we look at the field now for the women's 400-meter hurdle final, you saw Anne-Louise Skoglund in 1. There is Cristina Cojocaru of Romania in 2. Skoglund is probably the lady to beat. Nawal El Moutwakil from Morocco, who goes to Iowa State, is in 3. Sandra Palmer from Jamaica. She attends Cal State LA, so she's basically running at home and representing Jamaica. P.T. Usha is a lady that some people think could win this race, from India in lane 5. 55.5 for her time in the semis. Debbie Flintoff in lane 6 from Australia. Tuija Helander of Finland will be in lane 7. And then the only American to qualify, Judi Brown, is running outside in lane 8. I'm joined for the commentary now by Ronaldo Nehemiah, world record holder in the men's 110-meter hurdles. What about running in lane 8 for Brown?
She's known as a slow starter, and now that she's on the outside lane, she can't see anyone, and I would expect that she's going to be behind the first half of the race, and she's going to really have to press in the last 5 hurdles of this race.
I have a slow start, and I was in lane 8, and I was in lane 8 3 times. I was like, what Job chapter am I going through here? And the worst thing for me is I tend to have a slow start. And so me keying off of somebody kind of keeps me honest. And we already had a false start. I didn't want the race to go any longer. I was like, please let this race be over.
This time a fair start. And they're just about even as they go to the first hurdle, with Hellender looking good in lane 7.
I go with the first hurdle and I'm like, hey, so far so good. Like between the first and second hurdle, you know, I saw like one person went by and I'm like, okay, I'm in second place. I go with the third hurdle. I'm like two people went by. I'm like, okay, well, that means I'm in 5th place. And subsequently, by the 5th hurdle, I was dead ass last, or going into the 5th hurdle. So me, if you know me, I'm having this conversation with myself.
Judi Brown in lane 8 in decent shape. Here comes.
And it was like, you know, all the things you gave up. And then I just like, you know, 6th lane, 7th lane, just kept picking people off and just picking people off. And all I needed was, that's the first time and only time I wish the race was longer. All I need like 5 more meters.
And here comes Brown up on the outside to take the silver medal and a blanket finish for 3rd. I think it might have been Carter of Romania.
And as we said, Judi Brown, who has that tremendous final 4 or 5 hurdles, she didn't look like she was going to be a contender in the last 3 hurdles. She came on strong. She is exceptionally strong in that last straightaway.
54.62. That is a new Olympic record. But there's no question who won it and who finished second. Judi Brown from East Lansing, Michigan, has won the silver. Nawal El Moutwakil of Morocco, the gold at the Coliseum.
Now, these women have taken the lesson from the track to their professional careers.
Now my journey is, I'm a mother of 2. I do work for USA Track and Field. I'm the senior manager of alumni relations. So I'm just a big supporter of USA Track and Field because they have just done so much for our sports.
I work at Stony Brook University, and I'm Vice President of Equity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer. That navigation is what I do, and using sport for social change is what I do. I'm on the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency as a board of directors. I've been on Vice President of U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Association. With USA Track and Field, I was on AAC back in the day, and it was in leadership there. And so what I'm saying is, like, sport is always and continues to be a major part of who I am.
My kids are everything. And my husband is the Deputy Attorney General for the state of New Jersey. So my company is Maxi Media Group. We train athletes, executives, and activists who are front-facing to the camera or who speak from the stage.
Since then, track and field and the women's hurdles have evolved tremendously. The American women 400-meter hurdlers have made a name for themselves, with hurdling sensations as Kim Batten, Tanja Buford-Bailey, Sandra Farmer-Patrick, Lashinda Demas, Kori Carter, Sydney McLaughlin, and Dalilah Muhammad. The American women are a definite force to be reckoned with.
Being a woman's 400-meter hurdler now, it speaks volume because these girls are picking it up and laying it down, and you cannot deny them of the way they have handled these hurdles and the way they have represented the United States.
I feel like we laid the foundation for them, and they are getting the accolades that they deserve. They are getting the attention, they're getting the brands, they're getting the sponsorships. All of those things, I believe we laid the foundation for. So I'm just happy they're getting ready to do it. They're getting ready to do it.
The women's 400-meter hurdles, I love not only just the incredible success. I mean, they're one of the premier events. The times are just crazy fast, and I am so incredibly proud of those women.
As we endure COVID-19 and its effects on the world and our society, we look forward to the upcoming Summer Games of the 32nd Olympiad in Tokyo, Japan, 2021, in hopes of the continued legacy with the United States women and the 400-meter hurdles.
Anything I can do to empower our young women, I am here. I am here as walking the walk, not just talking it, but walking the walk that, sport has been the thread to my trajectory and doing well.
To all women in sport, whatever you want, you have to work hard for it. Nothing is easy, because to be the best, you have to give the best. So the way you practice is the way you're going to perform. So no matter what you go through, no matter what you do, always remember, keep your eyes on the prize.
The thing that I love about 400-meter hurdlers is that we're not sprinters. We're not the 100 meters. We're not the 400. We're not the glamour girls. We are the girls that are willing to put in the work. We are smart. We're passionate. And we got to be tough as hell to do this event. And you have to love it.